time we decided to break out the camera. Well, this is our phone camera, so we apologize if the sound is not all that great. But I wanted to come out and make this video real quick because we as a family, as you can see, we're actually out at the voting polls today. And I'm very torn. This is the first time ever in my adult life since I've been voting that I have been extremely torn on who to vote for the president. And I don't know, I was gonna say I don't know why that is, but Jay just brought up a good point. I know why that it is. It's because the older we get, the more information we get and the more questions that we're asking. And I don't like the fact that I feel pressured to vote for the lesser of two evils. I was gonna say I'm sorry if that sounds cruel, but it is what it is. Like typically growing up, you always hear, oh, you just vote straight Democrat or you just vote straight Republican, you know, on the absentee ballot. And we actually did mail-in ballots this year, but we wanted to bring it to the voting polls. We actually have it here to make sure that it gets in. But I'm here and I legit still have not completed it. Like I completed most of the other you know, things, voting for Supreme Court and all that other kind of stuff, and you know, your state governor and all that different kind of things.
And
did
we
those
actually went through the candidates.
Yeah, and we actually looked them up, looked to see who where they stood basically on different issues. And some of them had, you know, a lot of information and some had none, and it was just like, okay. Yeah. But I don't want to say the most important one, but the big one, the presidential one, I'm legit still torn. And I know some people some people who look like us probably automatically like, what? It's a no-brainer, you know what I'm saying? Vote Democrat, or vote, you know, whatever. But it's not a no-brainer because, to be honest, I feel like right now it's just voting for the lesser of two evils. And I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with the fact that I have to choose the lesser of two evils. Why is it that we don't have a candidate who we actually feel confident who is looking out for our best interest? And I can honestly say I don't feel like I see that from any of the choices that we have. And that's sad. Yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sitting here with the pen in my hand and I'm just like, it's very frustrating. Oh, and another thing too, I didn't know, this is something that I learned watching Red Table Talk. It was an episode with, those of you who don't know, it's with Jada Pinkett Smith, her mom and her daughter. They talk about different issues, and they had a episode with Ice Cube and a couple of other celebrities on there basically talking about voting and specifically the document that Ice Cube and some other people put together with different issues that directly reflect the Black community and different things that we want whoever's going to be the next commander-in-chief needs to step up and say, okay, we're going to work with you, and these are the different issues that we have, and we're going to go through them and see what we can do to actually try to help bring about some type of effective change. One of the things that was talked about in there was actually the voting process. I know the first time I voted, I was completely overwhelmed and confused because I was like, who are all these people? Like, I didn't know anything besides the president. You know, I didn't know that there were all these other different people that you needed to vote for, and how important those are as well, because you're dealing with your local government, the people in your state, and how those people directly impact you kind of more so immediate than the president. And that you didn't necessarily have to vote for everybody on the ballot. And I didn't know that because I always went to the polls and I was under the impression that you had to pick somebody for every category, but apparently you don't. So that was something that was interesting to me that I found out. But I know I'm kind of just all over the place, y'all, but just bear with me. But yeah, I think that it's important that we take our time and actually look up the different candidates and see what they stand for, especially in your state, because they're directly impacting you in where you live. And a lot of the programs and stuff like that that are offered within your state that can impact you are put into place by the people that you vote for. So I think it's important that we start actually paying attention to who are in our local government, looking up to see the issues that they stand on, and actually voting for those elections as well, and not necessarily just going with a particular party. Even though I ain't gonna front, when we did our research, it seemed as though the party that we would normally go with, all of those candidates seemed to have, we were basically on the same page with a lot of the issues, that they were on. However, that being said, there were other candidates from other parties, and I was just like, oh, they were right on the cusp, so don't just automatically assume just because you normally go with one party that you should vote that straight party. Do your research, because you'll be surprised sometimes with some of the things that they are against and what they're for and what's important to them. But yeah, this is just my little rant about voting 2020. Yeah, I'm just torn. I don't know. Comment down below and let me know if you guys have had anxiety or stress about this election as well. What your thoughts are. Do you feel the same way? Is it a no-brainer to you? Do you feel as though, or do you feel the same way where you just feel like you're voting for the lesser two evils? And like I said, I know that might be harsh to some, but it's real talk, because I don't really feel that any candidate has our best interests at heart. And it is what it is.
Something that I was speaking on yesterday. Guess I'll take this down since we're not getting out the car. Something I was speaking on yesterday. The issue that I did have with this voting cycle was that the crazy amount of pressure and vote shaming that people were doing.
That part.
It was a little crazy. A lot of people, my ancestors died for my right for my right to vote. Yeah, they died for your right to vote. They died for the freedom for you to make your own decisions, right, whether or not you wanted to do it. They didn't just die so you vote. If you in your heart don't believe that either candidate deserves your vote, then don't. It's just that simple, because if you vote for them and that person gets in there and they do some buffoonery, you are complicit. It is partially your fault, everything they do. So there's more responsibility to this than a lot of people are thinking. And if you believe that voting against somebody is something that you should do, then do that. Vote what your heart and believe says that you should do, and don't allow anybody to try to pressure you to vote, to not vote, or to vote for a particular candidate. Because you voting for somebody that gets in there and does some ridiculousness, that is on you. The stuff that they do, you helped them get there. So you're complicit. So vote your heart, whether you decide to vote, to not vote, right, Democrat or Republican, or if your ballot is all mixed up based on the issues, that's all on you. But I would urge you to look stuff up, because I did see some surprising stuff. In the black community, we have some things about Republicans, how we feel about them. And we found one candidate in particular that was going hard. He was getting reparations for us, and he was a Republican. So you don't always know.
Right.
You don't always know what people think until you look it up. Right. So take the time to look it up. I found a website. Hopefully I'll remember it so that Onika can put it in the description. Yeah. That gave us a nice little breakdown of what people have voted on in the past, because that is actually more important than their campaign slogan. You want to look at what they did. And the website actually started breaking down what the people did, specifically in North Carolina. I think the site was for, but they might have other sites like that up for your state. So I would suggest you look it up so you can look at their past and not look at their campaign slogans and their lies. Because I saw both Democrats and Republicans putting stuff up for their advertisements that were just blatant lies on both sides. So don't sit up here and act like the Democrats is righteous, because they're not. They just happen to align with a lot of what majority of black people would like to see get done. But don't just assume. Do your research. And if you don't do your research, you probably shouldn't vote. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of people out there that would probably just try to force you to go either way. But as a American citizen to a citizen who's not actually affiliated with either party, you should not vote unless you know who you're voting for. That's the one thing I believe. That I believe, and I'll go toe to toe with anybody on that one. The only people that really want you to vote and just vote blindly are the people who are involved in politics because it's to their benefit.
Right.
But to our benefit, to the people, don't vote for somebody unless you know what they stand for, and then do the research to find out. That's my PSA.
Yeah.
That's my part of everything. But we here. It took me a long time. To be quite honest, all the way up to like 2 days ago, I didn't know if I was gonna vote or not.
Truth.
It was just crazy. The way the process is, the way that the parties move, the amount of deception with the Democratic and the Republican Party and stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it, and it's a game, y'all. It's all of it it all encircles around money, and because of that, you know, I sort of look at it a certain way. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess Ice Cube was talking about put some money in your pocket and you can affect some real change, and I definitely can see what he means, because you would talk about who got real power. It's the lobbyists, the people who are able, the contributors, campaign contributors. Those are the people who got real power.
Yep.
And they have more power than we do, just to keep it funky with the voting. So I definitely see what he was riding on, because he's on the other side. He gets to see what the power of his money does versus his vote.
Right.
He's one of the people who actually sees it, and he's telling you guys, I suggest you listen. But regardless of all of that, vote your heart.
Yeah.
Whether you decide to vote, what side you decide to vote for, that's your heart. Nobody else's business, and don't let them pressure you into anything.
Right.
All right? That was it.
All right, well, know that this was a little random and a little
It's a lot more serious than a lot of our other videos as well.
yeah, but this is a very serious topic.
Yeah.
And like I said, the older you get, the more you learn, and you have to start thinking, because you see those two right there?
Yeah.
We
That's
have
what
to
it's
think
gonna
about
affect.
how it's going to affect them.
Exactly.
So do what you got to do.
Yeah, very, very serious. All right, y'all. We're going to cut it.
Hi
Peace.
and bye. See?
So just coming back real quick, we just went and turned in our absentee ballot, and we just had to show you guys this. They have legit like food free after you vote. Let me see if I can show y'all this. No, I can't flip the camera while I'm recording. Okay, well anyway, see the kids are back there eating. We got tacos and fish and chips or fish and fries. I got a legit rice bowl.
And we got
Jermaine got
donuts.
Tacos and everything. We got rice and beans.
And we got donuts. And we got chips.
Mm-hmm.
And we got snacks.
Like, this is serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just thought it'd be interesting to show you guys this, that they like legit are giving free food. They got the fruit. Well, we can't really see it here, but they got food trucks basically that we went to get this stuff. All free. Just for coming out to vote. So, nice surprise.
Yeah, so if you're in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yeah, so if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area,
you might be a little surprised.
you might be a little surprised. I don't even remember what school this is, but we're at one of the schools where we came to turn in our ballot, and they got free food out here, y'all.
I think it's Independence High.
Independence High, I think, is the school that we're at. Yeah.
I can hold the camera.
I got you.
Hi guys, me Carol. And it's me Nala. We just at the voting place right now, and we're eating. What now? And we got this food from the trucks, and there's a little
You
table
got
that
food
we
all over your mouth.
and we got snacks at
And
a
we
table.
got stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Got friendly stickers by a man. I think he was lonely. And I
Then
got...
why did he vote?
Okay. So I'm just being with City right now. Not them. I'm being really silly.
And Kyle just wanted to ask you, tell you guys something. Viewers.
I wanted to tell you that this place is the most famous place ever. 'Cause who has donuts at a school?
You said who has donuts at a school?
Yeah.
They do that from time to time.
Yeah, for fun times like Fun Friday.
And guys, this is the game. Like you said that.
It says vote
I know, it says vote.
for Joe Biden.
But it's kind of like you touch gutter, and I was like,
Where did she
what
get
is
that from?
this? But
Commercials on TV, Dad.
Oh,
it's actually a sticker.
Okay.
See how that works?
All right, y'all.
See ya.
Bye.